What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. I was looking over the videos I did this week, and I actually did two videos on the CDC, California Department of Corrections. I'll put both videos because they're both important, just like this one's important. They're both impactful, just like hopefully this one will be impactful. But imagine, as I was looking at those videos and I was thinking about Hector Bravo. Imagine if the politicians in Sacramento said, hey, instead of having one director of corrections, how about we make it a joint mission? How about Dubs and Hector Bravo overhaul the California Department of Corrections? How do you think that would go? Like, honestly, pause the video and leave a comment right now. How do you think it would go if Hector Bravo and I were to jointly head the California Department of Corrections and overhaul it? Now, having put that out there, I know I'm not looking for any kind of job like that. I don't think Hector is. He has said, though, I saw in a recent video, he said he probably wouldn't refuse it if he was tapped for that job, right? But imagine if the politicians could figure out a way to actually give reformed, productive ex-convicts a real voice in decisions. You know, the Scott Budnick created the Anti-Recidivism Coalition, and it is a powerful force. It really is. It affected a lot of change. It's the reason why I'm out. And I always give credit to Scott and the ARC for what they did. But I think in order to truly overhaul the California Department of Corrections, there needs to be serious dialogue and then implementation of whatever comes out of that dialogue with ex-convicts. An ex-convict who figured out the problems within themselves could help set a path. You know, it would take a long time. We'd have to be honest. You would see some gains initially, but it would take time. But if you took a correctional officer, a former correctional officer or a correctional officer, whatever, and paired him with the next convict, I really think then you would see change. But the thing is, and this is what I've been saying, this is the theme of my videos. When it comes to the California Department of Corrections, they really don't want rehabilitated men. The California Department of Corrections wants animals. They want monsters because it's job security. But you know the cost of their job security? I say it in all the videos. About 80% of those incarcerated within the California Department of Corrections return back to society within 8 years of entering it. And so when the CDC decides, or it is their program, it is their mission to make monsters out of their population, knowing 80% will return to the community, they are okay with it. You know why? Because those 80% don't return to their neighborhoods. No, they return to yours. And if you become a victim of a monster that they created, it's okay. To them, not to you, not to your neighborhood, not to your community. But it's okay for the bottom line. Money really is the root of all evil. Money makes people do evil things. Money can bring stress. Money can bring depression. Money can bring a lot of foul things. But what's the whole saying? Money can't buy you love. Money can't make you happy. You know, when I do all these videos on all these alpha males, they're supposedly all multimillionaires, and watch their videos, they never smile. They never smile. And they have the Bugattis, then they have the Lambos, and they have the mansions, and supposedly they have the beautiful women, but they don't have happiness. So when we have an entity in this state like the California Department of Corrections, which consumes so much money, so much of the budget, and it's not doing a good job at what it's supposed to be doing. I mean, if you're gonna, if their mission statement is to just warehouse people and make them monsters, hey, congratulations, man. You did that. You did a great job. You know, when Governor Brown was saying, "Hey, I want there to be more rehabilitation," after he talked to Scott Budnick and the ARC and them, right? And when they started implementing more vocations, they started giving people more access to getting into plumbing and masonry and all these things, auto body, auto mechanics, something like that. I don't remember what it was called. They didn't have the right vetting processes in place. And so what would happen was you had some nepotism. You had people, hey, I got a cousin. You had somebody working at the prison like, hey, I got a cousin that we could probably hire to do that. But that person's not certified. And so they put them in a vocation where the convicts that complete the program can't be certified because the instructor isn't certified. Or there's something wrong to where they can't be fully certified. But see, the CDC didn't care. That prison didn't care. They wanted that vocation open so they get that money from Sacramento. It wasn't about, hey, let's make the baddest plumbers we can. Let's make the baddest auto mechanics that we can. No, it was, hey, get that voc open. You don't got to even show up for work. As long as it's on paper, Sacramento's going to send that money. And I'm going to say the same thing every time I do one of these videos about the California Department of Corrections. The taxpayers need to demand an audit of the California Department of Corrections. We need to do that. We need to know, we need an independent agency to audit the California Department of Corrections and explain in detail. Get Elon Musk on it. Item by item, line by line. Where's the money going? $100,000 per inmate. Where's it going? Where's that money going? Because there's a lot of really hardworking men and women out here in society that are struggling. They could use some money. But again, getting back to the original topic, I know for a fact that in my fairy tale scenario, if Hector and I were given the reins over the CDC would be completely different. Hector knows the green. I know the blue. I'm not somebody who's into, let's baby them and give them everything they want. No, 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 no. But let's give everyone an incentive. If you do this, this, and this, you get this. Let's identify who really wants to come home, who learned from their mistakes. Give them an opportunity to come home. I was glad yesterday in my video that there weren't there were some, but there weren't a lot of comments as far as, hey, they did the crime, they got to do the time. Whenever I see stuff like that, or hey, they belong in prison, they did that. Hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion. And what I always tell people is, make sure you have that energy if your son gets busted or if you get busted. Because I met innocent men in prison that served decades. 2 of them in particular. One did like 27 years. The other one did like 24, 25. They were completely innocent of the crime. One was there, but didn't participate, and was convicted of actually killing somebody that he never had the gun, nothing. The other one wasn't even there. Wasn't even in the same city. And had evidence to prove it, but had a dump truck attorney. But anyways, so those of you that are, hey, they did the crime, they need to do the time. Hey, if it's you or your son, keep the same energy. No mercy, man. As hard as you judge a man is how hard you're going to be judged. Remember that. If Hector and I were to run the CDC, would it be perfect? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Would it be better for the communities? Absolutely. And I'm talking about the free community as well as the incarcerated. That matters. I don't remember which philosopher it was, but he said, judge a community by how they treat their prisoners. And I have to say that compared to other countries, the United States has it good, especially when you compare it to like Mexico, Russia. We're babied here compared to those places. But the California Department of Corrections has an evilness to it, to a lot of the staff and a lot of the incarcerated people. I was a very evil person for a very long time. On July 14th, it'll be 8 years that I've been out of prison. I don't ever look back. I don't miss it. I don't miss the street life. I do these videos to try to keep people from walking in my footsteps, or their uncle's footsteps, or their dad's footsteps, or their brother's footsteps. Because there's no happy ending, right? Anyways, that's my video for today, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.